For today's episode, we've partnered up with Geology. Geology is an 18-time award-winning skincare company, which means that they have won 2 awards from the last time we partnered up with them. That's a lot of awards, 18 awards. Geology creates simple and effective skincare and hair care routines customized just for you with ingredients that work. They're proven. Skincare shouldn't feel like a gamble. All of Geology's products are made with scientifically proven ingredients, trusted by dermatologists and cosmetic chemists. Not only is Geology the best in the skincare game, but they have also released a ton of new amazing hair, body, and other skincare products, a few of which I've been using and some of which I'm excited to use. I don't know if you've noticed, but lately I think my skin's been looking a little tight. Right now, for a limited time, Geology is gonna be hooking you up with an absolutely insane offer. Use my code BARFLY70 or scan the QR code on the screen and they will give you an exclusive 70% off their award-winning skincare trial set. On top of that, they're gonna give you an exclusive bonus offer of up to 50% off on additional skin, hair, and body products of your choice when you add it to your trial. This is one of the best offers you are gonna see on the internet, so go get it while the getting's good. That is Geology, Geologie. Simple, personalized skin, hair, and body care for you and everyone you know. What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Educated Barfly. Today we're going to be talking about a spirit that is near and dear to my heart. It is Charanda, which is a Mexican rum. Well, technically it's a Mexican rum. It has its own domain to origin. We're going to be getting into that. It is something that I was introduced to a few years ago, and as soon as I was introduced to it, I fell in love. When most of us think of rum, we think of a spirit that was invented in 1703 in the Caribbean, but technically, there is an argument that it was invented much earlier. It just wasn't known as rum yet. The fact is that sugar cane spirits were made in Mexico since the early 1500s, when Spanish colonists and Filipino sailors first brought it to Mexico. And although the Spanish were directly responsible for the introduction of sugarcane to Mexico, they're also the reason the category of Mexican rum isn't a lot more widely known than it is. The Spaniards imposed a prohibition on any homegrown spirits up until the late 18th century in an effort to protect the importation of Spanish brandy. And yet still in rural villages all over the country, producers continue to distill spirits they called aguardiente, which is the Spanish word for hard liquor, pushing these categories forward through the centuries. And it just bears mentioning for clarity that the term aguardiente is a really generic term for any distilled firewater or moonshine style liquor, but it's most commonly made with sugarcane. Although relatively unknown, the category of Mexican rum is on the rise, and it's my prediction that just like mezcal before it, this is the next big thing in Mexican spirits. Charanda is made solely in the Michoacan area of Mexico, and its name means red-colored soil in the local Purepecha language. It's coloring due to the high iron content in the soil. Producers also use well water local to the area, which has been praised for its purity. The distillation method is pretty straightforward. The sugarcane is crushed and fermented with local wild yeasts and then distilled twice in copper pot stills. Some charandas are made with 100% sugarcane juice, while others add in molasses and piloncillo, which is a sugarcane made from dehydrated sugarcane juice, and they add that in with the fresh juice. After distillation, Charanda can be aged in wooden barrels. In 2003, Charanda was granted a protected denomination of origin, making it the only sugarcane spirit with a DO. This means that it can only be made from fresh sugarcane juice, molasses, or piloncillo, and can only be made in 16 of the 113 municipalities of Michoacan. It is one of the very few terroir-driven rums on the planet today. And the last thing that I want to say about Charanda is that we should all be supporting this spirit. Not only is it goddamn fantastic, but it is in danger of disappearing altogether. 100 years ago, there were more than 80 different distilleries making this spirit, but that number has dwindled to just 8 in modern times. The dwindling has to do with many farmers switching to avocado and strawberry farming, which is the most common export of Michoacan, because it's just more profitable for them. There are also many issues created by the cartels in the area. But we do have a say on whether or not this spirit becomes extinct, and if we all support and buy it, we can help save it. Okay, that's enough about that. Let's make some cocktails. The Charanda Güey is a cocktail created by one of the homies. From San Francisco bartender and current Mr. Black brand ambassador Stephen Kurpinski comes this lovely 3 dots and a dash riff. All right, so first things first, we're gonna get our tin here. 1/2 ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of honey syrup, 1 dash Angostura bitters, 5 drops, 10% saline solution, 1/2 ounce red grapefruit juice, 1/2 ounce velvet falernum, And then 2 ounces Charanda Blanco. Scotia ice, and then we're gonna shake this until the ice is fully melted. All right, and because it's a tropical drink, we're gonna be using this Barfly Mai Tai glass, which we have some left over, so if you wanna go into the description below, there is a link for you. And we're just gonna do an ungated pour straight into the glass like that. And then we're just gonna add in ice. We're gonna give us a little grapefruit twist. And let's manicure it, shall we? We're just gonna stick that in like that. I got some frozen pineapple fronds here that we're just gonna manicure as well. Stick in like so. And there it is, the Charanda Güey. Let's give it the old Barfly try, shall we? That is really good. So it's nice and tropical. And Charanda, I should have actually tasted the Charanda by itself. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the video to kind of give you guys an idea of what it tastes like. But it's like a mashup of rum agricole and like Jamaican rum. That's how I think about it. But then with a little bit of salinity in it, like minerality. There's like a minerality on the finish of it that's really nice. And you get that played up a lot here. So, you know, on the rum agricole side, it really has that sort of very fresh, green, almost lemongrass kind of flavor that's very delicate, but then it comes in with a little bit of funk and some tropical fruit notes, and then that devolves down into this minerality, a little bit of salinity, and we're kind of playing that up here. I can definitely taste the Velvet Falernum in there, giving it a little bit of that rum spice that Velvet Falernum is known for. It's really nicely balanced. You're getting a bunch of the warming notes of the honey, and then of course the citrus, which is nicely balanced because you have lime on the tart side, and then you have the little bit sweeter and a little bit more bitter grapefruit juice. If you use something like white grapefruit juice for this, it's going to be a little bit more on the bitter side. I like to use red grapefruit juice for cocktails like this, and it's going to give it a little bit more color, and it's going to be a little bit more on the sweet side, like the sweet bitter side, but it also gives it this juicy texture, if that makes sense, that is really, really nice. This cocktail will make it into my summer rotation 100%. It is fantastic. It has a really nice tongue-in-cheek cocktail name. Stephen Kerpinski, my friend, you've outdone yourself. There it is, the Charanda Güey. The Piña y Caña, which translates to pineapple and sugar in Spanish, was created by DC bartenders Christopher Scott and Alan Grublauskas, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, of Oyamel in, you guessed it, Washington, DC, which Marius and I visited a little while ago, the city, not the bar, and the bar scene there slaps, and I'm sure this daiquiri riff does too. Here we go, in our tin. Bam! First thing we're gonna do, half an ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of Velvet Falernum, half an ounce of pineapple liqueur, and an ounce and a half of Charanda Blanco. Put a good amount of ice in your tin. Just give us a nice shake. Strain into our glass like so. And then garnish. Dehydrated citrus, preferably lime. But if you only have lemon, lemon's fine in a pinch as well. Give it a sip. I mean, it's just such a good daiquiri riff, and what's really nice about it is that even though it's only half an ounce of lime juice, the lime juice is right up front, it's nice and bright, it hits you just the way a daiquiri should. You get all those nice tropical fruit flavors, and then you also get that kind of rum agricole, kind of grassy green note that hits you very nicely, a little bit of that salinity in there, minerality, if you will. Minerality, if you will. A little of that minerality. But it reads like a daiquiri. It's so great. And then you get a bit of that pineapple, you get a bit of that Velvet Falernum, which is doing a really nice job balancing everything out and bringing all of the flavors together, making those flavors a little more cohesive. There it is, my friends, the Piña y Caña. The Killer on Ice is an old-fashioned riff from Seattle bartender Chloe Mosher of the Stampede Cocktail Club. And I don't have that much more for you on this cocktail than that. I know this cocktail is going to be interesting, and I'm always down for an old-fashioned variation, so let's give this one a try. All right, so in a glass, we're just gonna build this right in the glass. We're gonna do 2 dashes of Scrappy's Firewater bitters, and these are the bitters that are called for, so if you can find them, well, actually just link below to our Amazon and you will be able to find them. 2 dashes of Scrappy's Celery bitters, 1/2 ounce of Blanc vermouth. And this recipe calls for 1/2 ounce of agave syrup, meaning that they're cutting it with water. And so I don't do that. I don't actually cut my agave with water, so I'm gonna go a little bit less. I'm gonna do like a scant 1/2 ounce, maybe even a little scanter than scant. I don't know, maybe closer to 1/4, because I am not thinning this out at all. Scant 1/2 ounce of agave syrup. And then we're going 2 ounces of Charanda Blanco. Gonna like give us a little ice. You gotta be really careful because the wide mouth of this glass makes it very easy to spill. And just make sure that all the agave is combined. And a lot of you guys are gonna ask me why I didn't do agave syrup. And well, you can. It doesn't seize up in the same way that honey does, and so it's a lot easier to mix even when it's cold. But I do know a lot of restaurants will use a refractometer and they will water down their agave to be like 50 bricks or something, which is just making sure that it's on an even keel of sweetness between all of its syrups. And that is a very good idea if you want to do that. Okay, this one gets a lime twist, which you do not see very often. We'll give it a nice lime zest there. And we're gonna manicure this peel, I think. We're just gonna place that like that. Give it a set. Ooh, yeah, brilliant. Really nice. You know, you get the sweetness and the warming flavor of the agave, the spice from the bitters, and then the celery bitters really plays up the minerality inside the Charanda. And then, of course, you get those, you know, Charanda flavors. You get the agricole kind of green notes, and then you also get the, I mean, you guys are getting sick and tired of hearing me say this, right? And then you get those tropical notes where we know what Charanda tastes like. What's really nice is the interplay between the bitters and the syrup, and then the Blanc vermouth is bringing in a little bit of sweetness and a little light touch of botanical flavor to it. It's a really nice drink. What I like about it is that it's a little bit of unlikely flavors, but then also it is a light and refreshing take on an old-fashioned, but still kind of warming, if that makes sense. It still has that warming flavor from the agave. So there it is, guys, the Killer on Ice. So there it is, guys, 3 Charanda cocktails. It was supposed to be 4 Charanda cocktails, but Marius bullied me out of the last one. And by bullied me out of the last one, I mean that he passive-aggressively went to the store and didn't buy the cucumber that I asked him to buy, so I can't make the cocktail. I hope you guys learned a lot about Charanda in this episode. We have to go out there and support this spirit. It is very close to being extinct. And I would really hate for that to happen because it predates rum by about 200 years. All right, guys. Hope you guys make the cocktails, and I'll see you guys on another time. Today's pro tip is brought to you by both Garrett, Richard, and Marius. So Garrett is in the studio today. And we were talking about lime twists, and we were talking about how I don't really do lime twists that much, and a lot of people are afraid of lime twists, and you should not be afraid of lime twists. Some people think that you get a little too much bitterness because you pull off a little bit more pith than you would, say, a lemon or an orange. I don't believe that to be true. If you want nice, vibrant lime flavor in your cocktails, just give it a twist. And then, you know, follow our video on how to pull a peel so that you don't cut your fingers off, because limes can be a little bit tricky, but don't be afraid. Do it anyway. And I'll see you guys in another time.